probability wave coming from the past, and that's dependent on the choices you made in the past or things that have happened in the past. Because if you change every time you go in a timeline and you go to the past and you take position 3 and you get some learnings out of that, you're effectively, timeline therapy was originally called change personal history. When you impact the now, it automatically has an impact on the future. Take that particular internal representation and go and plaster it all over your timeline in the future. Rick.
And maybe I'm just thinking a little too much on this, but something that said something about that last example where the guy was going in and kind of changing the memory of that event.
Yeah.
So by changing the past or altering the past can change the vibration where it can make changes in the now for a better future on a different future wave.
Well, you were mostly right about that. I don't know if I'm interpreting it probably how you're processing it, but I think to chunk up and make it even simpler is that there is a probability wave coming from the past, and that's dependent on the choices you made in the past or the things that have happened in the past. But there's also a probability wave coming from the future, and where they all both collide is in the now. It's a very quantum physical explanation. And to put it more simply, what happened with that guy was he had an event, and his body was manifesting the result of that event even today, right? Because that, when you think of us as being a hologram almost, by changing his memory, changing his connection to the memory, actually contaminating the memory, if you will, changing the specific the memory. Yes, the body forgot that the probability wave changed from a quantum physics point of view, but more practically, the body forgot that ever happened. The body doesn't know that it's happened anymore. This is a real example. The scar disappeared. And I say that in the video that I'm not guaranteeing this will happen for everybody, but we don't go and alter memories. In that particular instance, it was done. The client was assisted to change it. And that lends itself, there is a health day here where I'll be talking about some concepts, and you'll get that information through your workbooks as well, through a lot of research, how certain specific ailments are a result of certain specific types of events, significant emotional events, or UDINs we call them. The event must be unexpected from that research. It should be unexpected, dramatic. It should be more than just a standard event. It should be isolating, means you feel alone on that, and no strategy, UDIN, no strategy. No means you don't know what to do about it. If a UDIN type event occurs, it can, from that theory, the seed for that particular ailment is born right in that moment. Sorry, that's a long explanation, but I think, best not to overthink it, Rick. All it means is that, there is, at any given point in time, and that's why this work is so powerful, because if you change, every time you go in a timeline and you go to the past and you take position 3 and you get some learnings out of that, you're effectively, timeline therapy was originally called change personal history, because your connection with the events is changing. Of course, from a quantum physics point of view, it changes the wave that is coming. And that's why we say both past and future is very important. If you go to the future, and most certainly if you have an addictive behavior, if you have another behavior that you're currently doing, one of the things, amongst many other things that we're going to do here, you should go and congruently associate yourself first, what it would feel like to not have that behavior, to be free of that behavior. Take that particular internal representation and go and plastered all over your timeline in the future. We also have an example of somebody who quit smoking by just doing that. I mean, what is all of this suggesting to you? You're doing it in your head. And then there's the other point in there, Rick, about if you go to the future end of your timeline, if you go beyond it, you're in the light. If you go beyond the past, you're in the light. You're in the light in both places. And we're suggesting that the light is that laser. Jane, you're okay? This does require, and for those who did Huna, it's kind of like the similar concepts we taught you, but more with a spiritual angle to it. But whatever the truth is, it's not so important what the specifics of the truth is. What's important is that open-mindedness to the idea that in all of the ancient teachings in the world, with Indian Sanskrit, Parvati Shiva, then you've got Uli and Kane. Like there is a sort. What did we say in Huna? The seedling of God. The part of the source of all creation is inside every human being. Eo. Here we're explaining it slightly differently, right? That we're a projection of that hologram. but there is something bigger, because this nervous system has unlimited capacity. And we're also suggesting that you're carrying all the data from the source of all creation. Are you somewhat accepting of that, Rick? The possibility? Yeah. The
No,
data.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I was just, just like with the timeline therapy, I was just envisioning other things changing that would change the now to make the future better. When we start to, think about what we want in the future and what we try to visualize and all that kind of stuff.
That's
kind of
true.
where I was
That's
going.
true as well. That's true as well. When you impact the now, it automatically has an impact on the future. But from our perspective, we're saying go the next level and be deliberate about the future as well. Go and plant memories into the future in the now.